Oh, good morning from Cord Art. I'm going to try and explain how we make one of these. A lot of work, but we'll start off with the three formers that we need. There's two formers which make up the body, which is obviously a monkey's fist underneath all of this cordage. And again, we need a piece of former that fixes to that body and makes the neck. So we're going to make those two formers out of foam. You can see the foam down here behind the bird. Yeah. So we're going to turn our heads to that in a second. You might think, why has he got his old Father's Day card there in the background? Well, I'm going to need a piece of card for the eyes. Yeah. But we'll get round to that. So what have we basically got here? We've got three formers, the body, the neck. When I say formers, I mean inners, things that we tie knots to, yeah? And then I've got a piece of wood in there as a beak, but it is actually covered in thin cord, and then this orange cord is what we tie around Japanese samurai swords handles. We've got an angel's wing on the end, denoting the end of its beak. We've got a zippers in it for the intersection between the beak and the head. Yeah. Got paracord cloth, as I call it, for the white and the yellow. The eye is a bead. Yeah, I bought a packet of beads online. So let's have a look at the legs. The legs are basically wire put into cord and whipped with 550 whipping, and then just glued and joined together, yeah, with a bit of a cobra on each one. The intersection of between the legs and the body is this DNA. There's three goes along there with gutted 2mm cord. What else we got here? A bit of fluff behind the wings. The wings are cobras, just a long length doubled over into the shape of a wing and then glued onto the body. The tail is gutted zipper zenits, three of those glued and yeah, put into the monkey's fist just here. Welcome back. Now, egg size. These eggs are 80mm in length and 60mm from side to side, which is 3.5 by 2.5. What we're going to do now is cut off this side piece here and that side piece there. Yeah, I've done one already, so we've ended up with that shape. Use the old Stanley knife. I'm not going to do it all online because I'll end up cutting myself, but basically I'm looking for a screen and trying not to cut my fingers, you see. So we're going to cut down like so, yeah. Cut that off. And then we're going to wrap the egg, as I've done, in builder's tape. I'm going to do that with two of these because I've got two orders. So that'll be my two monkey's fist for inners, yeah. And then we'll return after we've done the monkey's fist to actually cut these ones out. Well, I'm going to cut them out, but to shape them close to the neck shape that I need. Welcome back. You can see that I've made one former or one monkey's fist for the body. It's turned out quite well. I mean, we have how many do we have? We have 16 cords going down the full length of it. We have 10 cords going from side to side, and then on the top we have 8 cords. But we'll go through that now. A lot of people might not have seen my rig, and you can see it's really rough. 2 bits of wood, loads of holes drilled in it, 4 chopsticks, and away you go. Right, I think this should work at this angle. So what do we need? We need 23 feet of black 550 cord. Now I haven't gutted this, this is whole cord, yeah? And we're going to travel from top to bottom up 16 cords. So we'll just start off with, see if I can do this. Twist slightly. Yeah. Start off like so and go around 4 times. 2, catching up, 3. So we've just gone around 4 or 5 times. And we're going to take a pin and just go up through on that corner, just to keep all those cords on there, yeah? And we need 16, 14, 16, yeah. Now on the end of your 23 feet of cord, you need a fid. The way I do it is with a fid, but that'll come into play in a second. There is one on my cord, so we're going to then go after those 16 loops round, if you like, yeah, 16 times round. Go back through, and we're going to go 10 times round this way now. I mean, if you're not going to make this, it's just well, something to watch, isn't it? You've got a sleepless night, and then some bore comes on and sort of sends you to sleep. Then that's a result, isn't it? That's better. And bring that down through there without sort of having any twist going through it, and then make sure that everything looks about square. Then we're going to go underneath, and back up underneath these cords to the top here. At the same time, we're going to pop it through to the back, pull this through. Doesn't look like there's any twist in that one, so I'm fortunate. Right, now we're going to go down through. We've come over. We're going to go down through and continue around for these 8 times. So we're just coming up to, I think that's 7 times round. Go around one more time. So there we are. Right, so we'll just do a last minute sort of make sure everything is square. Yeah. We'll take the fid off. Take the lid off. And remove our work. Right, so there we are. It's in its most relaxed position as you could think about, yeah? Right, so that's where we started. I'm just going to get hold of that piece of cord, fold it up, fold it to there, and just hold it with my thumb. And then with these ones, all those 16, that's where it started down there. We're just going to slowly tighten them up. So just coming to the end of the first 16 tightening cords. That's 15, come round to the 16 one and then come over, and then we're going to change direction. We've been going round and round that way. We're now going to go this way. So this one, which is the last one we tightened, now comes this way, like so. Right, I'm going to tighten down through this knot until we get to the second tightening, and I'll show you what we're going to do. Well, there's the first tightening all the way around. It's looking neat enough to actually be able to use as it is, to be quite right. So there we are, nice slender that way. The dimensions just look about right, and plus I'm really pleased with how the cords are all laying, cover the whole ball. Yeah. So what we've got to work out now is how to fit one of these onto there for a neck. Now I'm going to draw out something on this white one to where I think I did the actual original. Then we're going to cut it out. Now I only actually glued it onto there before I tied around it. I think I'm going to make it a bit more substantial this time and put a holder down through and through, but we'll see as we go. But for the moment I'm just going to work out the dimensions on this so that you can actually follow suit if you want to make it. Okay, back soon. So there's our egg, our second former. I'd be happy to put it around that way actually. Now I've shaped it out like that because I want it to go on to the sharp end of the egg, yeah? And then this part here is its neck. So I've cut the other one and you'll be able to see what I'm trying to achieve. Now you do still have to play around with this. You just shape the ball into the position that you want, so it looks a bit like a, you know, I can see that it's flopping about a bit now. I've got to just play around with it. I'm going to smooth the edges off, all the sharp corners just a little bit, and then I'm going to cover it in tape. So when I've done both of them, I'll come back to you. So there we are. Now that's going to, this is the other one, that's going to be glued on like so. But as I say, I think I'm going to pin it as well so that it doesn't move at all. But the idea then is that we're going to, once it's glued, I did paint the original one black because obviously some knots you tie, you're going to be able to see a little bit of the colour underneath go through. So I did paint those black before I actually glued them on. Yeah, paint those black before I glued them on. If you're using acrylic paint, it doesn't take 5 minutes to dry. And I think I probably will do that and also pin it on. And then it'd be a matter of leaving it for a few hours to actually dry before we start going around with our West Country hitching. I'm looking forward to actually showing you how that works out. Then we'll have the body, the neck, and then the hardest part comes. I have to make the beak former out of a piece of wood, and it slots inside the foam there. I will make the beak, and I will give you the dimensions and show you the shape that I'm hopefully going to fit in there. And then unfortunately that former will be down to you to make. Now, I thought about this former. The reason I made it out of wood is because, let's just go to the bird itself. The reason I made it out of wood is that it keeps the shape really well. Yeah, the nice shape. So it's in about 1/4 ply wood, and I'll show you the shape when I've actually cut it out, and it goes inside the head, and hopefully that is something like that. Yeah, gonna leave it there, gather my thoughts, and come back to you shortly. I'll come back to this next part of the project. You can see that I've painted that neck part black. Let's just show that so that none of the white shows through the weave that when we put it on there. So it's got tape all the way around here, so any glue we put on here isn't going to affect the insides of it. Now what I've done is made a hole, lined it up with another hole onto the front of our project. I think it's that way actually. It takes a little bit of fiddling around, but then those two make together like so. Yeah, now the way we keep them together is to glue it. Oops. Now I use like jeweler's glue. It's really cheap online. Sticks, well, it takes a while to stick, so we'll be leaving this part of the project overnight. But once I've actually put some glue between the two, the other one, I'll show you the other one. I've actually taped it into position. Let's turn our attentions to the paracord cloth, as I call it. You'll see that we need 2 bits. Well, 3 actually. 2 small bits of yellow. You can see the woven bit inside underneath the eye. That's what we're after. And then the white bit is bib. Then the other yellow bit on the other side, yeah? Well, to speed things up, I've made the yellow paracord cloth. Now we're going to be cutting out the sections that we want, and I'll show you how we do that, because it's basically cutting it out on a piece of paper and sticking it to the cloth and then cutting around it. Yeah, so if you can imagine the eye again, the eye is like it's a bit like a D shape, but we'll be getting the right sort of sizing and everything, and cutting it into a bit of paper, sticking it onto our paracord cloth, and then cutting out the hole. Yeah, let's talk about some white. Now first of all, you need to know more or less how much of this stuff you're going to need. So I've measured that from here down to there is 3 inches. Well, you can cut this piece out of 3 inches, and the same widthwise is about 3 inches. So what you need is a piece of board, piece of wood, and I've got a piece down here if I can find it. Now this is 3 inches wide. This is what I used for the original 2 bits of white. We're going to actually, it takes ages, everything about this project takes ages, but a bit of old floorboard, but it's really strong, doesn't flex. Okay, and then what we're going to do is get a length of white. Now I've already done this once, so I know that the white we need is going to be at least 25 feet. Yeah, well, here we go with the paracord cloth. I'm not going to show all of this. I'm going to dip into it because it takes ages. So I've got my piece of wood, which is 3 inches wide and about 5 or 6 inches long. It's not critical. It could be wider. Don't want to be any more less than 3 inches. for our little project. So I've just super glued, put a touch of super glue on the top of our board. This is all gutted now. 25 feet I've used, maybe a little bit more, and I'm just going to wrap that now quite neatly around the whole of the thing. So I'll come back to you when I've gone down to here, show you what we do. Right, you can see that I've actually travelled all the way down the side width, the width of this board with the cord. Just going to put a little bit of super glue on that top there and just round there, because what I'm going to do now is go to that point and then just bring it to the side like that. I'll show you the result of that, and then all I'm going to do is, once I've gathered some cord together, as I say, there's a fid on the other end of this long piece of white. Now it's essential you don't get any twist whatsoever, so hence this is going to take some time. I'm going to start here, and I'm going to go let me look what I'm doing, over under all the way through. If you can't quite get it, come out of it there and go back and do it again. See that there's a lot of twist in there, so what we're going to do is actually get hold of how we want it. That's going to be straight there, so we're going to hold that tight there, bring that through. All the twists are going to go through. I'm keeping pressure here, and you can see the knot go through, yeah, and that's good enough. Then we're going to, it's a swine on the nails, this one, yeah. I use my nails to pull it down like that. Right, so that is going to be the first one. We're going to turn it over now. So again, I'm going to go over. There's a reason that I've come over the top of the last one, and I'm going to go over the top of this one, because once we've done as much as we want, we can sort of take it off the board and we can infill one of these edges. So if we go again, let me look straight at it rather than through the lens. I'm at arm's length, so it's a bit awkward, hopefully. Nearly. I'll twist that last bit out. So we've give that a bit of a tug, turned it back round, and then we pull it down with our nail. Welcome back again. Well, as you can see, I've actually travelled along this piece of wood a good distance from down here all the way up to here. It's got our 3.5 inches easily in that amount, and then my second bird will be out of this one, yeah. So how do we actually get this off of the wood and make it usable? Well, the only way that I've found that we can actually make it usable is to, let's see if I can explain. If you can imagine it being a book, and you want to open it up so that this is the one cover and that's the other cover. If we cut through there, cut down there, and cut down there, these ones become the hinge, yeah, or the binding at the end of the book. The only problem is as soon as I cut those all the way round there, it's all going to fling to pieces, you know, it will actually come unravelled. So the only way that I've found is to actually get hold of, let me just cut the excess off first. We cut that off, put the fid over somewhere else. Super glue. So I've got this super glue that I've bought online, which is very cheap. Don't know if it's any really good, but hopefully it is. But I'm going to put it along that line there. Yeah. Then I'm going to come down and put it down that line there. Then that line there. Turn over along that line, and the bottom line. So let's do that. So if I slowly but surely, I'm going to have to look straight on at it rather than through the camera. Of course, there's always a chance of sticking yourself to it. Hopefully you can still see what's going on, and I haven't sort of... Right, so that's all the way round there, that side. So we'll turn it over. That one. Oops, a lot of glue. Hope it hasn't stuck it to the board. And I'm pretty sure that mine's blunt at the moment, but we're going to give it a go. I can feel myself sticking here and there, so what I think I'll do is switch off there, do the cuts 1, 2, 3 after it's dried off a little bit, and I'll come back to you. Right, I've done the dangerous bit and I've sort of cut out where I needed to cut, I believe. Now that should, there's a lot of glue still knocking about, so right, not too much damage done. So there's our piece of board off, there's our 2 pieces of cloth, well, our piece of cloth. Now as you can see, I could probably now, which I'm going to do, put a thread up the middle of this side and that side, and then it will join the 2 sides together. Well, there you go. As I say, I managed to put this cord up through there using my fid, and it sort of joined the 2 pieces of cloth together to make one hole. And we have now got our yellow and our white ready for use. We're not going to do that next. I'd like to return back to the bird itself and actually remove this tape. It's not been overnight, it's just late evening here, so it's not had a huge amount of time to glue. Now we're going to be using some black gutted cord. I've got to work out the length by doing one first, because I can't remember the length. But what we'll actually be doing is doing a West Country whipping, which is a really easy knot all the way around here, right the way round to its forehead. But the other thing I wanted to speak about was the beak itself. I've been thinking about the beak. I mean, I'm fortunate. I can go down to my shed and cut out the exact piece of wood I want on my scroll saw, and it'll be arched round like so, and I can slit that and slide it in. Now, not everybody's got those options of wood. Now I was thinking that if you was to actually get hold of some strong card and cut the card out with scissors to the shape that you need, we're going to be looking at the dimensions of the beak, but if you cut it out in card and then glued 3 or 4, maybe 5 pieces of card together with that PVA glue, Well, welcome back. I've had to go to the garden, so you'll probably get all sorts of different noises coming across this section of the video. It's just too hot indoors. So what we're going to do on this bit is to do some West Country hitching up the neck. So I've done this one. I did use a bit of super glue on this one, but I did a trial on the one we're going to do today, i.e. this one, and didn't need any super glue right until the very end, but we'll see how we go. So to do this hitching, it's really easy. We're going to need 12 feet of gutted black cord, which I've got here. I'll just move my box out of the way. So how are we going to do this? We're going to loop it over the object. Now it takes a little bit of time doing this, but you can see, hopefully you can see, there's the cord there that's on the monkey's fist. Just there, yeah. We're going to try and cover that. So we're halfway over the top of that one, like so. Then we're going to come round to the same cord at the other side, and then we're going to do basically a left over right forever and a day. So I'm going to go my left, it might not look like it on screen, but my left over the right and through. Pull the slack through, and hopefully, first knot. Yeah, first knot a tangle. But can you see that there's a half hitch now in that bit there? So what I'm going to do is, we need 3 hands to do this. So I'm going to grab this one with my teeth and pull it like so. And you can see that it's got the half hitch tied. So then we're going to bring this one around the back of there. Like so. This one around the front. And then we're on the other side. We're just going to make sure that we've got the cords where we want them. Just adjust them slightly. Now the polystyrene inside does allow for a bit of give. So we got our 1 half hitch on this side. Now we're going to do another half hitch on this side. Again, left over right and under. And we've got our half hitch there, like so. And then again, we're going to go round back to the other side, making sure we got the cords all in line so that they cover this beast. When we get round to this curved bit here, we'll be doubling over because there's a bigger expanse on the back than there is here. But as I say, the white apron goes all the way around and down there, so no problem whatsoever. Left over right and through. Right, what I'm going to do now is come back to you when I'm at the top, show you what the score is. Well, here we are again. That is the whipping all the way up the neck, like so. I think it works pretty well. I mean, it's covered all the back that we wanted it to. As I say, most of the rest of this will be covered. I have just put a spot of super glue just there to stop it all unravelling, but I'm going to leave the spare cord on there until we get round to our next stage of things. Right, so talking about, so that is those two to that position, yeah? Let's think about the next thing that we're going to think about. But let's talk about the beak. I've made, just wait for that to go by. I've made 2 beaks. Now they're 4 inches in length. They're 1.25 inches to 1.5 inches in width. and they're 1/4 of an inch thick. Now that bit goes down inside the bird like so. Yeah, it's going to go in like so eventually. But I've been lucky. I mean, I can actually use my woodwork skills to make, well, I've got 2 of these. But what I wanted to do is give you an option if you weren't into woodwork. So what I come up with is what I mentioned earlier on. Let's see if I can grab hold of them. Yeah, birthday cards and granddad cards and what have you. If you cut one out to the shape and then just keep going with cardboard until you've got loads of them, which measure about 1/4 of an inch across there. What I'm going to do now is, and I'll show you in the next bit of filming what the result is, that is I'm going to go and actually glue all of those together with PVA glue, and I'm going to put a large weight on top of them until tomorrow. And there's no reason why we can't use this one rather than the wood one. So we'll see how that works out. Well, welcome back. Let's talk about beaks. We're going to be all about beaks on this part of the video. There's a wooden one that I made. Yeah, just cut it out of that shape. I will hold this up to the camera for a still. You can do a screenshot on that if you wish, to actually sort of get the shape of the beak. We was talking about making one out of card, and this is what I've made. It's come out just as good, not quite as strong as the wood. The wood is solid, but this is good. So we're going to use this. I've got multi-layers of cardboard. I wanted to prove that, as one of my birthday cards or something, I wanted to prove that you didn't have to have any woodwork skills to make this. So we're going to reject that one, reject that one, because what we've done with the other wooden one I made is covered it in cord. Yeah, that's quite basic, and obviously I've made a recess into the head. All I did was cut through the tape, work it, and then push that in hard. Yeah, so what we're going to do first of all is cover this cardboard one in cord. Yeah, now you might have to use a little bit of super glue. I needed super glue as I got around that edge there because it started to fall away, but all of this is just, it's a waxed 1mm. I think it's about 1 mil, maybe a little bit less, cheap cord, but it's obviously rainbow coloured. And the reason that I wanted to do this is, if we go back to the original, you can see that he's got some rainbow colour inside of his outer covering. Yeah, so what we're going to do today is actually make the beak. We're going to do the bridge piece over the nose, and we're going to do the angel's wing. That's the next few things we're going to do. We've got to do that so that we can actually enter it into the bird's head, so that we can get the dimensions of the white piece and the yellow piece. Once we've got those dimensions, we can then cut them out on our paracord cloth. So let's start off with making a loop. We're just going to make it like a lasso in the end of our cord. All we're going to do is place that over the part that's going to go into the bird's head. Tighten that up, and I haven't tried this, so I'm hoping it's going to work as well as the wood. As I say, might have to use some glue. Going to jump about a bit on this with me showing you what I'm doing. I don't really want that underneath, although it wouldn't make much difference. Yeah, we'll leave it underneath. Welcome back, here we go. So you can see that I've just wrapped some cord all the way down this cardboard beak. That worked out fairly well. It doesn't have to be perfect because you only actually see very little of it through the actual other cord. So you can see that I'm not quite finished off at the end, but there's no need. So I've now made a hole for this one. As I say, all I did was just slit down, worked my scissors in, and then formed the hole that I wanted, like so. Yeah, starting to look like something now, isn't it? Haven't cut these off yet because it's always a good idea to just have a little bit of spare in case you need to wrap it round or something, you know, just one over the top over there like so, and glue it off. So we'll come to cutting that off. Now we're just going to come to what I call the hardest part of this project, which is covering the beak with this cord like this. That's the best I can do. Now this is called, let me just have a look, Super Marquee, which is the cord style that they put around samurai swords. I find it really frustrating because as you've got to keep the tension on it all the time. It doesn't come out too bad, but I wish I'd thought about it before the original. But what we're going to actually need is 6 feet of orange cord, gutted. I'm just going to measure that out now. Come back to you when I'm ready. Right, so we've got about 6 to 7 foot of gutted orange cord. I'm going to pass that over the beak. We're going to start right on top of that knot, can you see? And we're going to just touch a touch of glue on there so that sticks on there. So that's going to be like the back, but it doesn't really matter because we'll be covering this with other cord. So once that is actually taken, we've got to do this wrapping. Now there is a really good video, Paracord Planet, which I took this from. So he makes a much better job than what I'm going to do on this Super Marquee, which I'm told means sword wrapping or handle wrapping. So what we've got to do is forget about that one for the moment. Now this one, we want it to go across at first like so, and then we need to put it for a right angle so the cord comes downwards. Now we don't want to turn it up like that, we want to turn it down and round like so, about halfway across, yeah? And I'm squeezing that now so that it sort of gets a crease in it. And then we've got to come again at right angles, just below where that one's going to come, yeah? So we've got that sort of effect. Just neaten it up a little bit. Now here's the tricky bit. I've got to hold that tension on there while we do exactly the same with this cord that way. So if I hold those two like so, in the video that I watched he uses clamps and what have you. Well, I use super glue. I'm just going to touch a little bit on there because I see that it moved. So he would actually use clamps. I'm going to put caution to the wind and put a little bit of super glue on there as well, like so. And then I'm going to bring, right, that's how that one has to be, like so. Yeah, so we got that double twist, if you like, there, holding that down. and we're going to do the same again. So if I hold that one down, that one on there, twist that one underneath, like so, and then twist again. As I say, it's quite an infuriating knot, and you can see that we end up with that. Yeah. Now once it's like that, you can actually pull it fairly tight, but the chances of you dropping everything is quite high. So what I've been doing is just a touch there, a touch here, just to get me going. I don't use it on all of the knots. Right, so that's going to hold our place. Now if we get it back to where we were before, forget this one for the moment, and this one is going to go, as I say, not over the top, underneath, like so. And then squash it down a bit, like so. And then we're going to twist it round again, like that, to come just about there. And then this one, if I can hold those two together, so I'm holding the tension of the bottom one and keeping the tension on the top one, we're going to go under, put my fingernail on that one, and again, like so. And I think this is the effect that we're looking for. Can you see that it's ending up with like a diamond shape between the chords, allowing the colour to be seen. Yeah. I'll show you one more before I carry on to it, going down there on my own. Right. Keep the tension on. See if I can do one without super gluing it. Get that one out the way. Like so. Like so. Bring that one round. Grab the two. Bring that one down, like so. One more time round. And I think that's quite good. Right, it's going well. Probably a little bit better than the last one I did, but we're going to try and do one more, but you can see we're running out of space there. So we just get that one out of the way. But I think we're there. I think we're there. Pull that tight, maneuver them into the position. Right. I'm happy with that. So I'm going to finish off by gluing. Can you see what I'm doing here? Gluing down like so. So that one is going to come down to there. This one is going to then wrap around the last little bit of beak. Like so. And we'll just finish it off down there. Yeah, you can still see what I'm doing. That one and that one. Right, so if we actually now snip off those two, find some heat, which isn't difficult where I am at the moment because it's absolutely boiling. So that's that one, and that is that one. So here we are. This is what we want to achieve. We want the angel's wing on the front, like so. That's got a 6 bite. I'll be showing you how to do that. And then we need about 3 inches, maybe a little bit more than 3 inches, 3.5 inches of zipper zenit that go around there. I think we'll do that first. So as you can see, I've cut the cords on that one and I've glued everything into position. Yeah. So let's have a look at this one. I think probably we could probably go around one more time with a wrapping knot, yeah, and then finish it off there. So if I go left over right, put it on tight, and then I think let's have a little bit of a sort out, a bit of super glue, me and my super glue, eh? I researched why jack tar was called jack tar, because I thought it might be because they use lots of tar on their rope. I wasn't far wrong. They used to use pine tar to make their, well, keep the rigidity of their cord or their rope, especially the hemp. And yeah, you could actually work it better. And I associate super glue like that, to be quite honest. Pair of scissors, yeah, got a pair of scissors. Let's just take that one off. We don't need that anymore. And that one. Got a lighter in there. Hang on 2 seconds. Oh, here's the lighter. Right, that one. And that one. Right, I've got, let's get rid of those 2 black pieces. I've got 2 pieces of 5-foot cord here. One for the zipper zenit and one for the angel's wing. Now with the zipper zenit, I think it probably get away with 4 feet, but I've got 5 feet. Right, how we're going to do this? As you can see, it's a nice neat little knot, very tight. Yeah, start it here, go right the way around to the other side. And the way we're going to do that, clear the deck slightly, put the super glue lid on. We're going to halve our 5 foot of cord, and we're going to drop down and hold it like that, both of them together, one on top of the other. Yeah, one on top of the other, and we're going to drop this one down behind to make a loop. Yeah, so there's our loop. So you've got effectively what I call a fish shape. Yeah, this one's at the front, and there's its tail. There's the body of the fish. Now we're going to take the top part of the fish's tail and double it through that loop. Yeah, and then just tighten it up. Right. So there's it lassoed, sort of thing. And then the one that's facing downwards, the one that we just tightened up, yeah, we're going to loop that back up behind and put it through again. Bring that over and then tighten down on that one. Before we fully tighten down on it, we're going to get hold of the bottom one, which is solid, make sure it is tight, then tighten down. I'm going to do the same again. This bottom one that we just tightened down, get a loop, back through. Before we tighten it down, just pull that bottom one tight, and the knot start to take shape. Now that's the one we just pulled tight, have a loop on it, through, pull the opposite one, start to tighten down, here. Yeah, I did it with 4 feet and it was just on the limit, so I thought we'd make it 5 feet. Right, you've seen how I'm doing this, so I'm going to get it to the length we need. Right, so I've just measured this length around his beak. It's about right, it's just under 3.5 inches. And then to finish this off, we're going to, obviously, that's the one we just pulled tight. We're naturally going to was going to put a loop through, but we'll put the whole cable through so that it just finishes it off. Pull it tight, pull down. Yeah, miles too much material there, really. It didn't need the 5 foot, could have got away with 4'6" or something. So we cut these 2 off. Bit of heat on there. This is really cheap cord. You can tell it just goes black when I burn it, but it's the colour that I wanted. But this is probably one of the cheapest cords I've ever used from Temu. So that is going to be for our beak there, yeah. Now we need to concentrate on doing the angel's wing, yeah. A little bit more intricate than that last knot, but let's have a go at it. As I say, I've got 5 feet of cord, gutted cord here. So we're going to make a U going that way. Yeah, make a U that way. I'm going to leave about 4 inches, 3 or 4 inches, and then come over the top and squeeze with my fingers there. Then I'm going to bring this one. Now, having in mind we're over the top, this time we're going to go underneath and up through. Yeah. So there's one bite there. We're just going to do the second bite because we're going to come back up with another loop. So there's one bite there, one bite there. We want 6. So then we're going to come up through there. Over and under and over. Yeah. So now we have 3 bites. 1, 2, 3. Bites meaning turns around the baseline, yeah, in this case. So we've gone over, under, over and under and over. That gives us 4. nice gateway up through the middle there. That we can put our next loop up. So we're over the top of this one, so we've got to go underneath and then feed a loop over, under, and up through the top bit. So how many have we got now? Probably, so we've got 3 that side. 1, 2, 3, 2 this side, 1, 2, that's 5. So all we need to do is take this one, having in mind we're coming round and up. So it goes over, under, over, under, over, under and over. We end up with a triangle like that, really relaxed, yeah? So what we need to do now is tighten it up twice. If you know this knot, it's a lot easier than if you don't know it. I mean, I know that if I gather those bottom ones in for the first tightening, and then get hold of this one here, yeah? Pull that one, which is on the, goes round to there, pull that one tightish, and then that's what we're going to work up through the knot this first time round. Yeah, so can you see that I've actually taken the slack out of this round there, and then I'm taking it upwards. It's then going to go across. Then it's going to go down like so, and then we pull it back up that way, nice and tight on that first one. We're now going to go across again, take a bit of slack, down, and then back up on the next one. Bring all of this slack through the knot that way. And then we're going to go down. To there. Then we're going to take this slack back up through the knot. Like so. Then this slack is going to go right the way through the knot that way. To there. This loop now has to come down through the knot, and I know it's that one. As I say, if you know the knot, it makes life a lot easier. Don't really want any twist, but it's a hot day and I'd like to finish this, to be quite honest. So we come down and need to go back up again now along the next one. Just working this slack all the way through the knot. This loop then goes that way. Once it's gone through that way, it's going to go down. Just trying to get some twist out. So we've got to there. This is going to go down there now. Which one's it going to go down? Have I messed up? I think I have messed up. Yeah, let's see if I can retrieve what I've done wrong. That goes down like so. Down to there. It's because I'm not concentrating. one comes down to there. Yeah, goes back up to this one. Hold the tab out the way. All of this has got to go down now. That way. Pull that tab up there. Pull that like so. And we diminish the size of our triangle. But by not by much. But we've got to get down to that small. And we should be able to achieve it on this next pass of the knot. See what we can do. Right. We need to gather the slack at the bottom, like so. On this knot here, we need to be pulling the second line up this way, yeah, and that's where we get our little bit of slack on that corner. Not my dogs, not my kids next door. You might be in for a surprise, especially if they're playing in water. Sounds as though there might be. Right. We are getting there. It doesn't look like it, but we are getting there. It just doesn't seem to be going as small as I wanted it, but it will be what it will be. I might have to make another one of these offline, because as I say, with the heat and the distractions going on around me, not really the best of my knots. Let's see what that looks like. I think it's a bit too big still. Maybe not. Let's see what we've got. Just gonna, if it's no good, then it's quite easy. I just refilm this bit. Right, so that is what we're looking for. Doesn't look too bad now, actually. Might be a little bit bigger than the other one, but let's have a look. Yeah, no, that'd be fine. Right, let's make a leg. We can see that it's got two legs, which is always the way you want it. But can you see that I've done this DNA, and both of the DNA go the same way? On the next bird I do, I want DNA going round that way and DNA going round that way. The legs won't be quite so long either. Let me show you. This is one of the birds that I've made for. So I've got DNA going round that way and DNA going round that way. When you look at them, that is the main toe. The outer toe goes to the outwards. Yeah, hopefully you can see that. Right, so I've made one leg for this next bird, and that's better, the sun was glaring through the window. So yeah, we've got one leg made so far, and it's twirling round to the right. So the one that we're going to make is going to be twirling round to the left. You can see again that the extra toe that's attached to it goes on the outside. Yeah, you'll see what I mean in a minute. So we've got one piece of wire, which is 4.5 inches long, and I've put it inside, not this one, I've put it inside a piece of cord, and there it is. So that's let's just make sure I'm getting the measurements right. Yes, it's almost 5 inches almost 5 inches, yeah. So that is going to be the main leg part. But so how did I make that? Quite easily. Find a piece of cord, protrude the inners out slightly like so, grab hold of them between your fingers, and then just, if we're lucky, push that down like so. Yeah. I think we're okay there. We'll trim off. And melt that one. Go to the other end. This is the extra toe, by the way, yeah? So that's the leg part. This is the extra toe. Right, so you can see that the leg and the toe are covered by more cord. So that's whole cord, yeah. So I've got a couple of pieces here, and I believe that they are one for each of those wire pieces, and I believe that I've cut, yeah, about 20 inches. Should do it. So this is the extra toe. We'll do that one first. What we're going to do is use a bit of super glue, and having in mind we want a toe sticking out the front there and one sticking out the back there. We're going to put a bit of glue about there. Hold that one on there like so until it's stuck, and then we're going to sort of bind it, yeah, just to give it a bit of thickness. Oh, nearly lost it. Give it a little tug every so often. So as I say, this is going to be the extra toe, back and front. So what we'll do there is just chop off, heat up, yes, you're right, that is my nail going black, burnt my nail. Silly thing to do. Now I'm happy. Right, so that's our spare toe. We'll grab hold of the other piece of 20 inches. But this one, we're going to start lower, about an inch down. So about an inch down to here, yeah? Right, so we'll leave a little bit showing as a toe, yeah? Can't believe I burnt my finger. Well, my nail really, but it is a bit painful. Right, bit of heat. Right, so that is going to be our leg. And what we need to do now is put our DNA for about an inch from where that white bit is there. I'm going to go over that so it doesn't matter it's white. Down for about an inch, maybe a little bit more than an inch, but about an inch. What have we got on the spare leg? Make sure we got, that's one leg. That's the same leg. So we're talking about this one. Or yeah, we're talking about this one. So we've got how much DNA? It's about 1.5 inches. Yeah, so that's easily enough. And what we've got here is 4 feet. It's a bit longer than 4 feet because it was another spare bit of black cord, gutted, 550. Right, so that one was biased to the right, so the loops on this one are all going to be to the left. All the loops on that one were on the right, and you'll see I do all the loops on this one on the left. So there's the left around this one and up through. Take it down to where we want it to start, just there. So we want all the loops on the left and through. As I say, we want to go down this shaft or this leg about 1.5 inches. So this is once round the DNA. We're going to return back up to our start point in a minute to give us this nice thick looking DNA, yeah? Right, let's just measure that. It's only just over 1 inch. We need at least 1 or 2 more. Right, that's looking good. So to get it twice the thickness, or twice the depth on it, we just turn it upside down and carry on with the loops on the left again. I like the DNA knot, it's good. So there we are. I've finished it off at the top. I just love the way it swoops round, yeah? And then we've got this one looking like that. So we've got loops in, both looping in. Now you can see, as I say, this one goes on the outside. On that side, it goes on the outside. On this side, it goes on this side. So what I'm going to do now is glue that to the side like so, glue it to the side, let it just go off, and then we'll put a fixing around it like so. Yeah, be back to you when the glue's dried. Right, so I've glued that to that side. Yeah, it's still drying a little bit, but I've got myself about, oh I don't know, maybe 18 inches of 2mm orange cord, and I've gutted it. And all I want to do really is put this around the base and do a cobra for about 4 or 5 stitches. This just, you know, strengthens it all up. Just the stuff that I bought. I've got 2 or 3 tubes of it. As I say, it's really cheap. It's only a couple of quid, a couple of pounds on Temu, but it's sold as jeweller's glue. Is a surprise adhesive force. This was a great adhesive, best-selling Europe and American mad fans around the world, whatever that means. And it's a multi-purpose adhesive. Well, welcome back. Right, so how do we determine where the eyes are going to be, how big they're going to be? It's all freehand, really. What we're going to do to show you how we get to, can you see I've done one already? That's going to be, oops, that's going to be the right eye. I'm going to stick that onto some yellow. There's the left eye. And this is the bib. So how did we achieve those? Right, so the way I do it, get a bit of 2-inch masking tape and carefully position it just behind that bridging zipper zenit piece there, yeah, like so. And again this side, you have to maneuver it because it's not all straight. Right, so then we've got a base to work on. Now the consideration when we're going to draw this is that we've got to fit an eye and then the white with a little bit of a black cord around it onto it. So I think the ones we're making are going to be slightly bigger than this, but we'll see how we go. So I know that I want a D shape, and it's just a matter of a feeling really. I can feel that the neck is there, yeah. So I'm going to roughly sketch out something like that, yeah. Now I've got to match something up like this on the other side. Now I want to leave a gap along here because there's going to be a cord goes between there and the actual eye part itself. So I'm going to draw that like that. So that's one side. If I look at it from above, I can see that I want that one to start to there, come down to about there. So I'm going to come round like so. Just as I say, don't want it right up to the cord. Let's have a look at that one compared to that one. This one looks bigger, so we can change it around a little bit. You just get it to a position where you're happy with it. Yeah, it's not far off. It's not far off. I usually spend a good few minutes just bringing it round to where I want it. So that's that side, and that's that side. Probably still this one's a bit bigger, so we'll just diminish a little bit of that there. Well, I'm happy with that. So that's going to be our left, and that's going to be our right. I'll take that off. And we're going to stick it to a piece of paper. Or are we? No, not just yet. We're not going to stick it to a piece of paper. We're going to cut it out first, or cut them out. You can always trim them up afterwards if you're not happy with what you come up with. Basically just got to be more or less the same size as each other. Right. So we decided to take a little bit off of there. And a little bit off that front one. So that's generally the shape of eyes we're going to use for the bird. Yeah. Right, so next we need a bib. You can see that it comes right up to underneath the beak, and it comes fairly well down as well. So what we're going to do now is first of all decide how far down we want the bib. So if we go to there and put another piece of 2-inch masking tape that way, we'll fill the top in with some inch masking tape, like so. Another bit there, like so. Right. So once we've got that on there, we know that we've got our right eye going on just about there. Come back a bit. Just about there. And our left eye just about there. Make sure that that looks about right. No, this one needs to come up a bit. That's better. Right, so we know that the eye is there. We're going to actually mark that around like so on this piece underneath it, like so. Yeah. Same the other side. I'm going to mark it underneath. We know that we want to come down to about here. If we look at the bird that I've made before, you can see that we come from about here and then round. Oops, we're not even online. Look at the bird. We come from here and then there's a swoop round to the front. Yeah. So if we do that, we know that we want to come from about here and swoop down something like that. And if we come to do the same this side, that's not quite right. We're going to swoop down like so. If I just make that a bit more seeable. As I say, you can't do it wrong because this is your project. And if you wanted to have triangles rather than D shapes, that would be okay because it's your idea. Right, so there we are. So what we then do is take the eyes back off again, which will be put onto a piece of paper to be cut out. Stick that one on there. Take the left eye off and stick it on a piece of paper like so. And then this is a little bit precarious, but now we've got to take all the tape off so that it stays in one piece. Just concentrate on this bit for a moment. Right. So what we're going to do now is cut out that shape. And see what we've got. Right, so, oops, we've ended up with that sort of shape. So then we're going to stick that onto a piece of paper, any piece of paper, work it down on and stick it to it. They will actually be glued onto there. Now if you look at the original bird, I made it go diagonally, the actual on there, and I might do the same because I quite like the effect, so I might be having it like so, yeah, if it fits in nicely. So what I shall do now is glue that with my jeweler's glue and put a weight on it until that's dry. I'll put my other one that way, yeah, glue it and wait till it's dry. With my eyes, once I've come to a decision exactly the size and everything, I've got plenty of cord for 4 eyes, yeah. Yeah, I might even be able to have a little bit of this paracord cloth left over, but so they'll be glued onto there like so. Probably get another 2 up here somewhere, but if not, I've got ample here to play with. So that's the next bit, is to actually glue all these on, and I'll come back to you once I've glued them on and they've dried. Okay, thanks. What I'm trying to get to is that you've got to be careful that you don't end up with the reverse of what you want. I mean, the reason that I've marked them on the back now is because if I just was to glue that on there, the other side would be the opposite to that shape. By me turning it over, the other side will be the same as that shape, and same as these. So what I'm going to do now is use some of my gem glue to glue these onto there. Yeah. Right, on to making wings and tail parts. So that is going to be like the wing, yeah, which we'll make first. I've made two for the one bird, and I've got one made for the bird that we're doing. These are the tail feathers. So this is zippers in it, and this is just cobra. So I'll show you what we're doing with the cobra, and then I'll finish it off and come back to you, and then we'll shape it. Right, so what do we need? We need a 9.5 inch piece of full cord, black cord, yeah, and we need 8'6" of black cord gutted, and then we're just going to do a cobra all the way down. We'll get it started, as I say, like so. And we'll bring that right to the very end. Right, we're just coming up to the end of this 9.5 inches of cobra. Then I'll show you how we loop it round to make a wing. Just finish this one off a bit quick. Mind you, more haste, less speed. One more. Yep, just about got there. There you go, scissors, trim them off. Right, so let me make sure those two are opposite each other. Let me just make sure that they're opposite each other. That one comes around like so. That one comes around, yeah, they're opposites. So we've got to go to the opposite to this one, which will be like that, yeah. When I say it's opposites, so that it sits onto the body a lot better, yeah, we're having this one glued to there, and these are its flight feathers, supposedly. That one down there, that one, is glued round that way. So as long as you've got them opposite, there's no real problem. Well, there wouldn't be any problem at all if they were both the same, but it would look a little bit odd. So we're just going to give that bit of a super glue there. Hold that on for a minute. And there you go. We're going to talk about doing the tail. We need 3 pieces of zippers in it. I've done 2 of them for the bird that we're making. The middle one is 3.5 inches long, and the 2 side ones are 3 inches. Now, we want to make them so that they remain with one tail on the end, because we're going to put a fid on this end of that cord and feed it into the monkey's fist. But let's make the last zippers in it of 3 inches. Now for 3 inches I've got 4 feet of black gutted cord. Yeah, I've just found a little bit of super glue on there. I'm going to move that because there's super glue on there, and I can feel that it went onto the cord then. I think I got away with it. Right, zippers in it. If you remember, make a U shape halfway along, sideways U shape. Put one down behind the other. So this one is down behind. Makes us have a loop. Bring this one into a double and feed it through there. Yeah. And then we're going to tighten it up. Like so. Yeah. And remember I said to pull the bottom one in, put the slack, then we put a loop into 2. Right. Then we're going to put this last one through that loop. We're going to pull tight on both, and that's going to lead up. That's going to be the one that we use for putting through the bird. Yeah, let's just cut that one off. And we'll just get ready for the fid for tomorrow there. I will show you my little cheat. You can see that it's all over the place, isn't it? Whereas these are straight. Yeah. So what we're going to do is pull the slack out of that. Yeah. And then naughty me, going to put super glue on one side. Yeah, and then we're going to just hold it until it goes and give it a bit of a pull. I'm sticking. Give it a bit of a pull. And then just lay it down to dry somewhere. Yeah, and then that will stay rigid. Right, we're getting close now. Obviously we've got to return back to the yellow and the white, and we'll be talking about the bead eye, but this little bit of white card behind has got a 1mm or less than 1mm piece of black cord going round. Now you don't have to put the black cord round, you could actually use a black pen and go around the outside of the edge of the cardboard. But it's your choice, but I'll be putting a little bit of black cord around mine just as an emphasis. Yeah, right, so we'll leave it at that for this evening, and I'll join you again tomorrow. Well, hi there. Let's look at the fitment of the tail. Quite straightforward really. Get hold of our beast. Yeah, now on the longer section of the tail, which is the center one, I've put a fid. Yeah. What we're going to do is put the bird like so. Look at these bottom cords here, and we're just going to slip up through to a reasonable position. About, well, it doesn't matter where you come out actually, but that will be fine. Pull that through. Make sure that you've got your gluey end to the bottom if you've put glue on them. Give it a bit of a tug so that we've got it just started underneath the cords. Yeah, like so. And what I'd like to do then is just give that one a touch of super glue just to stop it moving. Not too much to inhibit the other two going through. Yeah, so that one's in. Remove the fid. and I have checked that the fid goes on these. I'm just hoping that, yeah, it's on there, but not all that well. Then we go up next to the other one. Come out the same hole if we can. Just checking to see which side the glue is on. Can't really tell, but I'll go for that side. Just starting in the monkey's fist. Little touch of glue there. My wife often says to me, can't you do it without using the glue? Well, yeah, anything's possible. If I've got another week to make the project, you could work out a way of just threading everything through, but it's not really me. I like to get things done, even though that this video is going to take forever to actually audit. Right, here goes our last one in. I think I went off screen a little bit there. Just going to pull that one into position. A little bit of a tug. A little bit of super glue. Right. We'll just get that fid off. Now, although it's like that, I'd prefer it to end up like that, which is on the other bird. So what I've done is just touch glued them all together, and then underneath I've put some of my jeweler's glue just to keep it in place. Yeah, I'll come back when I've actually glued that into a position that I'm happy with, and I've cut these 3 cords deep in there. Yeah, back. So let's just start again. Overnight I've cut the sections out that we wanted. They've dried nicely, and we know that that is on my pink pinned, yeah, pink pinned bird, left and right, and its bib. Now I've been playing with the other one, and as you can see, I've more or less got it into position. Not 100% happy with it, just positioning wise. I'm happy with the actual bib. Now you can see that I've got it pinned into position. Still playing around with it, but trying to be a bit of a perfectionist. But there you go. So I'll be playing around with that quite a lot before I'm happy. And then what I'll do is I'll release a few of the pins, put some of my jeweler's glue underneath, and then push it down. I'll probably have about twice as many pins holding it all into position, and the same with the eyes. And once they're glued into position, we'll start thinking about the eye proper. We won't put the wings on until this is all glued up, because the wing actually goes partly over the bib, if you see what I mean, like so. Yeah, so we'll leave the wings for the moment. We're leaving the feet, obviously. It just gives us a bit of space to work. But so yeah, the intention now is for me to maneuver these into position by foul means or fair. But you can see I've not tried this on there, but that doesn't look too bad at all. If it starts to fluff up a little bit around the edges, just very gently give it some heat so it just seals the edges. Yeah, but nothing too much because you'll burn it. Right, so I'm not going to do any of this online. I'm going to position all these where I want them, and once I've got to that position, i.e. something like that, yeah, and mated this up underneath to fit. Now you've got to remember, I'm trying to leave a gap. I did want to leave a gap around there. I could trim this one again, so because what I want to do is actually, I haven't got the right colour in hand, but it will be white, and the white trim will go all the way around like so, yeah, just to finish it off. And again with the yellow, I'll have a yellow trim that goes round like so, yep, just to finish it off. So a little bit of gapping here and there is what I'm looking for. So I'm going to position both of these up now to where I want them, and I'll pop back with you when I'm actually gluing this one, or one of them, and show you what I mean. But it means leaving it again overnight. So this is why it's such a long project. Once we've done that, we can look at putting the eye on proper. We'll be cutting a little bit of white card with the eye on it, stick it on there, and then we'll put the little bit of black cord round. So still a bit to do, but this needs positioning correctly, and it's such a lot of work to actually just make one of these. I want to get it right. So I'll come back to you when I've positioned everything. Right, I've spent a bit of time actually positioning these exactly where I want them. Not nearly enough pins in them yet, but obviously I've got to take the pins out to actually put the glue. And as I say, I'm going to be using my jeweler's glue to stick those parts on. Not going to show that online. I will come back and we'll sort the eye out, and that's getting very close to the full assembly of the bird. See you shortly. Well, welcome back to the last section of this epic, if you like, video. Let's go on to the eyes. The eyes, well, I've cut out some of the cardboard that I had from my saucy card that one of the kids had sent me. I've forked out the eyes that I bought online. Did a few trial sort of, they're egg shaped, those white pieces of cardboard, but I started off too small to begin with because the eye just more or less covered it. So you get the egg shape to the size you want it. Now this time I've decided not to put black cord around, even though I made a bit of a noise about it. It's an option, you can put black cord around it, but I've used a black baro, and it doesn't look too bad. Let's have a hold one up and see. So he's looking pretty good, yeah. Now, so I've got those four to fit. You can see that I've stuck his legs on. Just made a hole in the ball. I went 3 cords up on the monkey's fist and 1 in from the side. Made some nice holes, put the relevant foot in. Probably gonna have to finish off a little bit because I can see a little bit of orange where it's mating up to it, but not to worry. So yeah, we've got the eyes to put on. This has all gone nicely. We've got the wing, which just covers a little, I try to get it so it just covers a little bit of the white there, and it comes back there. That will be glued on with the B6000, yeah. So that will be that. I'll be cutting a couple of little bits of orange and brown, and fraying out the bits. They'll only be about that long. Fray out, melt over, and then we put them inside there. Yeah, yeah. Make sure I'm like, just spray them out, put them on a fid, push them through. Yeah. So we got the wings on, we got the fluffy bits there. The bit I'm not going to show online is actually putting all the yellow around the eyes and all the way around the bib. Just to finish, I'd like to say, if you're still with me, well done. It's been a really long set of filming and explaining. Hopefully I can sort of edit this down to a manageable amount, and we'll see you in the future. So thank you from Cool Art. Cheers.